I call to order the July 13th, 2015 Board of School Trustees meeting. Would you please rise for the pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We wanted to welcome everyone here tonight. We've got a full house. We want to get out of here before the storms come in. Did we have anybody sign up? We didn't? Is there one over here too? I'd appreciate if you check. None? Okay. All right. No one has signed up to speak tonight. Next on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda, and that includes the approval of minutes of the June 8th, 2015 regular session, the approval of claims, approval of staffing report, approval of donation to S. Ellen Jones Elementary School, approval of school board meeting dates for 2016, and award a contract for brokered natural gas. I want to make sure I've got all of them this time. Do we have a motion, or does anyone want to take anything off for discussion?
I'll move for approval.
Okay, Mr. Hines? Ms. Anderson, second. Discussion?
I just want to make a comment regarding the staffing report. We have several administrative transfers that are happening tonight, all of which are great quality people. It's my understanding that Mr. Briscoe is working with the Teachers Association right now in discussion with our current hiring policies and guidelines, if you will. So I'm not sure the current hiring policies that we have are the best interest of the school corporation, so I'm anxious to see what you come up with the guidelines, and at some point would like to see if the board can get that specific, all the hiring policies on an agenda that we can, at another school board meeting, further discuss. And the specific of it is just being able to post these positions to people from the outside, because right now we're doing a lot of in-house hiring, which is great too, but I'm also a believer that when you increase the competition, that the consumer wins, which in this case would be our kids. So
I just want to clarify, though, I know Joy and I are working on having meaningful discussion of the guidelines, but guidelines can't go against policy. And the current policy is the superintendent has the right to make an administrative transfer. So there's nothing we're writing now that could go against that. That would take board approval to change a policy.
well, I guess then what I'd say is I'd be interested in having conversation about when we post, when we don't post, just for clarity, if nothing else.
Yeah, be good.
Well, let me ask this. When we start going through our policies, maybe we could, look at that.
And this is something that I brought up the last time I was on the board too. I shared the concern with the other superintendent, but I'm confident with who Dr. Hibbeter's put down on these positions tonight, and I'm happy to support them. So.
Okay. But like I said, that's something we can talk about when we go through the policies, and we'll talk about that later. Okay. One other thing, and I was glad to see that there's a correction to the staffing report. You all.
Yeah, anything highlighted there in front of you are additions that's happened just recently that we're able to put down.
Yes, I'm real excited to see that we have hired someone for the Floyd Central Radio TV, because we've lost 2 people in 2 years. Don't know why we're having such a huge turnover there. I hope we can keep a person this time. Don't know what's going on, but.
Right, we had a long-time employee quit last year, and then we
Right.
had somebody for 1 year that recently quit. And,
Right.
But we think the new person will be outstanding.
Okay. I hope so. All right. Okay. Any other discussion? Pam?
Mrs. Knable?
Aye.
Mr. Gaunt?
Aye.
Mrs. Anderson?
Aye.
Mrs. Corbett?
Aye.
Mr. Hines?
Aye.
Ms. Weishart?
Aye.
Ms. Gardner?
Aye. Passes 7-0. Dr. Hibbard?
Yeah, let me move my cake. Thank you, Michelle. It's the first time I've ever had chocolate cake at a board meeting, so it's wonderful. Tonight is a special night for our school district, and a lot of us in our careers might improve something a little bit. I mean, that's our hope. We want to make whatever we touch better. And tonight we're going to celebrate someone who didn't just touch something and make it a little better. She absolutely transformed our elementary program in New Albany Floyd County Schools over the last 6 years. And I can remember the first time Michelle and I were together. We were in her car and she was taking me to each building to meet the principals, and I started to ask questions about literacy and numeracy and what were we doing in kindergarten and stuff. And it was soon thereafter she started on the path of transformation, and we have a lot of people here tonight that saw that transformation and were a part of it. And I think that's one of the things that Michelle was able to do, not just be a leader, but she tried to make everybody in the room think that they were the driver. And I want to thank you, Michelle, from the bottom of my heart, what you've done for our school district. And if you and Joel would come up here, because I know Joel works long hours as well, but he also gave his wife to us, because there was no one that worked harder than Michelle and spent more hours here. And at this time, we would like to, the board and I would like to recognize you with a clock that you can put on your mantle to remember us by. So, Michelle?
Thank you. That's absolutely beautiful. And before I recommend to you the Director of Elementary Education in Title I, I'd like to express my overwhelming appreciation for the many opportunities that I've been given while working in New Albany Floyd County School System. I began as a very young teacher, and after a very short time of teaching, someone saw something in me that I didn't necessarily see in myself. And that has been the case the entire time I've been here. My parents gave me a strong grounding in working hard and believing in myself. Educators along the way reinforced that. And as we all know, Mrs. Anderson voluntold me that I was going to the office after very few years in education. And she was right. I've loved every minute of it. I love the work and I love the people. I've been incredibly blessed to work with so many wonderful children, families, and staff members. It has been my honor and privilege to serve with the very best of the best in public education. New Albany Floyd County Schools is an outstanding school district. We're learning at high levels for children, for adults, for everyone involved. That learning is truly our priority. I have learned so much during my time with you, and I thank you for that and the priceless relationships that will ever be held in my heart, a very special place in my heart. I intend to continue to be involved in various capacities and will always be your biggest cheerleader. With that being said, I'd like to ask Mr. Duffy to come to the podium with me. It is with great pride that I would like to recommend my colleague and my friend, Tony Duffy, to succeed me as Director of Elementary Ed Title I for New Albany Floyd County Schools. Tony and I have been on this journey in administration from the very, very, very beginning, and I'd like to tell you it's all been easy and fun. It has not. It's like being a duck on the water, and those webbed feet underneath go so incredibly fast, but they look so smooth. I would put any administrator that I have worked with in the past 8 years as their supervisor against anyone in the nation. And I will tell you, they know more about curriculum instruction and children and putting children first than anyone else in this nation. They are outstanding, and I have been privileged to lead and work with them. Tony, New Albany Floyd County is his home, so he knows a lot about our children, our community, and the challenges that we face. He is a New Albany High School graduate. He attended college at Indiana University Southeast, where he obtained his bachelor's, his master's, and his administrative license. He taught for 10 years at Silver Street, Pineview, and Mount Tabor. He has served as an administrative intern and assistant principal at Georgetown Elementary. He's been a principal at Silver Street and Mount Tabor Elementaries. His professional activities include participating in the Center for Educational Leadership, serving as New Albany Floyd County Education Association Vice President. He's a graduate of Indiana Principal Leadership Academy. He took Silver Street Elementary through school-wide Title I process, and he attends numerous professional development opportunities because lifelong learning is his goal. He also hosted George W. Bush, none of us can say that, in the No Child Left Behind speech visit at Silver Street. But most importantly, Tony believes in a professional learning community and that all of us are smarter than any one of us. It is the team that works together collaboratively and focuses on the right work that makes learning at high levels possible for our children as well as for each other. It is learning at high levels, cognitively, socially, and emotionally, that makes doors open and success possible in life for our children and for all of us. It is my request, Tony, that you be the very best director of elementary ed and Title I this district has ever had. Right, Bill? That is what I said to Bill, that I was going to be the best, and that's what I'm going to ask you to do, Tony, because that's what our children and this staff deserve. And I know you'll do that. It is with great pride that I recommend you for this position, my dear colleague that I have the utmost respect for as an educator and a person that I know is just an all-around great person.
Wow. Those are going to be awful big high heels to follow in. Not going to wear high heels, but those are big shoes. It's always easier to follow someone that it maybe had a little trouble, but Michelle is excellent, outstanding, and it's going to be really hard to follow her, but I'm going to do my best. I'm going to be the hardest worker and give it all that I have. So I am, first of all, I'd like to introduce my family, so if you don't mind, I'd like to introduce my 4 beautiful ladies. And my wife, Janine, who's been with me through all of my journey in education here. And my 3 girls, Lindsay, Miranda, and Brooklyn. So welcome, guys. And I'd like to thank Ms. Day and Mr. Briscoe and Dr. Hibbard for their confidence and support. And I'm humbled. And I've had some people tell me that, and I'm just humbled. I'm excited. I am a little scared. I didn't put that down because I didn't want to say that, but I am. But humbled mostly. And I look forward to joining and working with such a strong leadership team. And I'm very excited about that. The knowledge that is in the building next door is mind-boggling, and I'm very excited to be a part of that. I look forward to leading and working with and supporting our elementary leadership team as well. And as Michelle said, just an outstanding group of educators. And I'm extremely confident in their abilities and what they bring to the building each day for our kids. And I'm just so excited about that. And I'm excited to lead them to continue our goal of high levels of learning for all kids in a safe, orderly environment. And I'm just excited to be a part of that. So again, thank you, and I'll do my very best.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, Tony had his opportunity to be at his first cabinet meeting today, and Michelle, you'll get a kick out of this. He said as we went around the table, he said he was working on your checklist. Now, we'll give him about 2 more months of that, but then he's going to have to get on his own checklist. So.
Yes. Well, there's a notebook first of checklist I got to take care of first. But you know Michelle. Michelle's very organized and left me in good shape, so I appreciate that. And now is it?
Yeah, now you want to do the other candidates that they've already approved.
Sure. And at this time, I'd like Mr. Scott Hughes to come to the podium. And it's my pleasure to recommend Mr. Hughes. And Mr. Hughes has a Bachelor's of Science degree in Secondary and Social Studies from Indiana University. He obtained his master's in education from IUS in special education and secondary education. He completed the education leadership program at IUS and holds a current administrative license. Mr. Hughes's extensive background of experience includes 9 years of teaching special education at Mount Tabor, where he taught students in the emotional disabilities classroom. He also served 10 years in the Student Support Services Department as a behavior support specialist for the district and a program coordinator. The past 7 years, Mr. Hughes was the assistant principal at Mount Tabor Elementary. Mr. Hughes has a strong leadership and communication skills. He's established an excellent rapport with staff and students and parents in every school community in which he's been involved. His hard work, determination, and enthusiasm have always been apparent to the entire school community. Mr. Hughes has an extensive knowledge of special education, and he's hardworking, dedicated, and leads by example. He will be an outstanding principal at Mount Tabor Elementary. So this time I'd like to recommend Mr. Scott Hughes to be appointed principal at Mount Tabor Elementary.
Scott, you've already been appointed, Scott. So
I'm new at this.
don't look shocked.
Well, it's really nice to hear Tony say nice things about me. Is there any problem with if we come back next month and I could But I certainly just would like to thank Dr. Hibbert and the board for your confidence in me. Mount Tabor is a wonderful place. Big shoes to fill. Mr. Duffy has been my mentor. He's my friend. I'll miss working with him. I thought we were kind of a package deal, but I told somebody I've been hearing from him more now that he's in his new position than because he's just calling, checking on me, make sure everything's going okay. So also a big thank you to Mr. Briscoe and Mrs. Day, just wonderful folks. Mrs. Day, I'll miss her tremendously. She's always been a friend and an advocate for me. And just a wonderful person. She's a great educator. She puts kids first, supports teachers and supports administrators, so it's pretty awesome. And looking around and seeing folks like Mrs. Anderson, who was the assistant principal at Mount Tabor, and when I was teaching there, she's just a wonderful person. And then also Mrs. Murphy back there, who also served as assistant principal and principal. So it's going to be a great year for Mount Tabor. I have high expectations for our kids and our teachers and staff. I also appreciate very much a few of our teachers are here, Mr. Birch and Mrs. Horvath and Mrs. Osdegu. I think I spoke with them, and I appreciate them being here. So again, thank you very much. I think at this time,
Yeah.
yeah, Bill said the only mistake you can make is if you don't introduce your family, and I almost walked off and forgot. But my mom is here, Harriet Hughes. She's a retired educator, and now she spends a lot of time volunteering at the church and playing bridge and at the hospital. I'm going to try to get her to volunteer some at Mount Tabor. My niece Chloe is here, and she's a preschooler. And then my beautiful wife Paula is here. She's stand up. and then my son Phil. There's Philip, and he has a twin brother, but his twin brother's a student at Bloomington. Is in Bloomington over the summer. So again, thank you very much. I think at this time I would like to recommend, I guess, my replacement. Introduce.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Whatever's up here. Miss Sarah Pierce. She has a Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology and a Master's of Art in elementary education, both from the University of Louisville. Mrs. Pierce also has a Master's degree in education from Indiana University Southeast, where she completed the educational leadership program. Her past experience includes teaching second grade at Floyd Knobs Elementary before becoming the administrative intern there for 2 years. The last 3 years, Mrs. Pierce has been the assistant principal at Slate Run. Mrs. Pierce has also had extensive training in conscious discipline. It's already clear to me, working with Mrs. Pierce the last couple weeks, that she's a hard worker who will put students in their learning first. She will be a wonderful support for our teachers and staff as well. I'm excited about the opportunity to work with Ms. Pierce, and she will be an excellent addition to the Mount Tabor professional learning community. So, Sarah, can you come on up? Oh, I forgot to invite you up. I'm sorry. I'm pretty nervous if you can't tell.
I just want to say thank you. I'm very excited about the opportunity to join Mount Tabor's team, and I've had the good fortune to work for and with many great leaders such as Michelle Day and Elaine Murphy and Amy Niemeyer, so I am looking forward to learning from Mr. Hughes and continuing Mount Tabor's great tradition. So, thank you.
I'd like to introduce Miss Tammy Swearens from S.L. Jones.
Good evening. It is with great pleasure that I introduce Stacy Metters as the Assistant Principal Title I Coordinator for S.L. Jones Elementary. Ms. Metters attended Indiana University Southeast to obtain her master's and bachelor's degree in elementary education. She also attended Indiana Wesleyan University to obtain her administrator's license. Stacy has many years of teaching experience. She was at Fairmont Elementary for 8 years in kindergarten, first grade. She worked as a reading recovery teacher and as an interventionist there. She additionally worked 4 years at Fairmont as their literacy coach, and then the last year she was the administrative intern at Grantline Elementary School. I truly believe that Stacy's experience and expertise, both in data analysis and literacy instruction, is going to make her an excellent addition to our leadership team at S.L. Jones.
Thank you so much for this honor. Dr. Hibbard, Mr. Briscoe, school board. I'm very excited to support Ms. Swearens at SEJ. I know she has visions of very high levels of learning for all of the students there at SEJ, and I just look forward to being on her team and supporting the teachers and just moving forward with that vision. I would like to introduce my family at this time. They are here with me. I, of course, couldn't do this without them, with the support they've given me over the years in my career. My husband, Kurt, and then my 2 sons, Will and Wes, and then my daughter, Nora, which she'll be coming to kindergarten this year at SEJ with me, so I'm very excited about that. Thank you very much.
Now I'd like to introduce Miss Amy Niemeyer from Slate Run.
Good evening, and Mike, if you want to join me. It's my pleasure this evening to introduce to you Mr. Michael Rohrt. He has a Bachelor of Arts degree in Political Science and has teacher certification in elementary education and secondary social studies from Hanover College. He earned his master's in curriculum and instruction from Purdue University and then obtained his educational leadership certification from Indiana University and currently holds an administrative license. Mr. Rohrt has had a diverse experience as an educator. He began his teaching career in Japan, teaching English to elementary and junior high students. From there, he worked at Purdue University, supporting pre-service teachers. He taught 4th grade in Honduras for a couple of years before moving to Indianapolis, where he taught 2nd through 5th grades. Mr. Rohrt has been in Michigan for the past 3 years, where he was first a migrant education coordinator and also a high school reading intervention teacher. And then most recently, he's been serving as the elementary dean of students and the district athletic director. Mr. Rohrt has a natural ability to build relationships and lead both students and adults. He firmly believes that all students can learn and achieve at high levels and is committed to creating a positive and motivating learning environment. Mr. Rohrt grew up in Harrison County and is excited to be moving back to the area with his wife. He is eager to begin working with the students, staff, and families at Slate Run Elementary, and I know he will be an outstanding assistant principal. I introduce to you tonight Michael Rohrt.
First and foremost, I just want to say thank you to Ms. Niemeyer, the interview committee, the board for this opportunity. As she said, it's always an honor to get to come home. It's something my wife and I are excited about. She couldn't be here this evening. Obviously, the transition from Michigan, she's still up there taking care of some things for us. But she's also very excited. You know, we know it's a great school system. There's just countless opportunities. I've had the opportunity to meet some teachers. I'm really excited about the staff. The leadership of Ms. Niemeyer I know is excellent. So I think there's the sky's really the limit for us, and I'm really excited what we can do this year. But I want to thank you again. I'm looking forward to it.
I'd like to introduce Luann Sewer from Floyd Knobs Elementary.
It is my great pleasure to introduce Abby Campbell. She is going to be the new administrative intern at Floyd Knobs Elementary, and it is a wonderful privilege to have her as part of our team. She has spent the past year as a second grade teacher at Floyd Knobs Elementary. Prior to that, she was teacher at Mount Tabor, where she won the 2013 Teacher of the Year for our entire district. She, prior to that, was a teacher at Silver Street, so she brings lots of classroom experience. Abby is a magnetic personality. She connects wonderfully with students. She's always about students first, and she's also an incredibly hard worker. So it is my privilege to introduce Abby Campbell to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hibbard, Mr. Briscoe, the board. I'm honored, to say the least, and humbled for this opportunity. Much like Miss Anderson saw something in Michelle, Michelle saw something in me. So I appreciate the opportunity and the confidence, and I can tell you that kids are number one to me, and I'm excited for the opportunity to represent our district and lead it to a wonderful vision in the future. Tonight with me is my husband, Adam. And I've often said that spouses of educators should have their own little support group. So he deserves a big pat on the back for all of his support for me as well. So thank you. I'm honored.
Yeah, and we also want to recognize tonight, as a lot of you know, Dr. Griffin went to Greater Clark and as assistant superintendent. And we want to wish him well. And to replace Steve, Bill Kramus, if you'd come to the mic for us and introduce Bill. Believe it or not, the first time I recognized Bill was probably my first month or 6 weeks here. And Bill was presenting, he was the pseudo department chair of the district without being paid, so to speak. And he was at Floyd Central High School working with the secondary math teachers, which is no easy task sometimes to work with math teachers. And Bill did an incredible job of facilitating the meeting, and I was certainly impressed because it was real leadership. Again, that whole notion of being a listener first. And so there's no doubt in my mind that Highland Hills is in great hands. I've had 6 years of watching Bill. In the last 5, Bill was at New Albany High School, and the renaissance of New Albany High School, and if Dr. Page is here, and I think she would admit to that, has been a real team with Dr. Page at the head and Bill at her right-hand side. So anyway, Bill, we're thrilled to have you at Highland Hills, and we want nothing for the best for you and the staff there. So congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm not really sure who had this shorter retirement, Brett Favre or myself, but right now I'm looking into that. But I do really appreciate the opportunity. These things don't come along very often, and I wanted to use one word, but Tony used it already. You know, humbled is the word that I came up with. It's not something that you get the opportunity to do. It's not something that comes open that often. It's a great school, a great community, and it's part of a fantastic school corporation. So I'm very excited to be at the helm. I've spent the past 3 weeks listening to everybody, and I'll continue to do that. And hopefully with their help, we can continue to allow that place to grow and achieve even higher heights than it has in the past 14 years. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'd like to introduce my wife, Lynn. She is a speech therapist down at Children's Academy. She and I have been together longer than her parents had her now. We're up to 37 years together. So she's the life of me, and without her, there's nothing I can do. So I really do appreciate it, and thank you guys so much.
Is that all?
That's all.
That's all.
Just some personnel changes.
Just a few. On behalf of the board, I want to say congratulations to all of you that have been new positions. I know we are in good hands, so we're really looking forward to a great school year. Michelle Day, again, I'll start crying, so I won't say much. We will miss you. You've done a fantastic job, and you're welcome back anytime. I'll say that. I hope that's okay to say.
Oh,
but-
that's great.
May I
but
make
you're
a
welcome
comment?
back anytime, Michelle.
May I make a comment?
Absolutely. Don't cry. Don't cry.
I'm not going to cry because I'm going to tell her to just put the clock away because you do not need to set it except for the days you're going to come out and play with me. Okay? And I'm very proud of you. You know that. Very, very proud. And you too, Joel, if you're feeling left out.
Thank you all. Moving on. Next, we have an action item: approval of memorandum of understanding between Prosser and Vincennes University. So, who are you in charge of that, Dr.
Let's see. Mr. Taylor's going to come up. And before he presents, I would like to recognize Dr. Helton at the front row with a red. If you'd stand, Dr. Helton. Dr. Helton, since 2004, has been the president of VU and has been instrumental in the piece with dual credits, working with high schools and career centers across the state. I had the opportunity to meet Dr. Helton while I was at Noblesville High School, working with his wife. She was in charge, the director of guidance at Noblesville High School, and I was assistant principal. And I told Dr. Helton earlier, the first time we met was at the roof ballroom at prom. But he was a long-time superintendent of the state of Indiana, included his last stint at Avon. So we're welcome to Southern Indiana.
President Gardner and Dr. Hibbard Board, I do appreciate the opportunity to explain our request to enter a partnership with Vincennes University, an early college partnership. But let me back up, and if you don't mind, we do have some special guests, as Dr. Hibbard just mentioned. I'm going to ask if Dr. Helton could introduce those he brought with him. There's some other Vincennes folks here that braved the storms to drive all the way up here to support this this initiative. And so, Dr. Helton, if you say a few words, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you, Alan. First of all, it's a pleasure for us to be here tonight. I have to share with you that in my days at in public education, K-12, I did 36 years in K-12 before I went to VU in 2004. So you can do the math. By the way, Michelle, most people cried because I didn't leave. And it took me 47 years, and I'm still working, and you're doing that much more quickly than I am. But congratulations to you. I always had the thought that higher ed and K-12 did not work closely enough together. And as a 19-year superintendent in Indiana in 2 school districts, we always hired the teachers from our higher ed partners. We sent our students to the different campuses across the state of Indiana. But I never thought we did enough together where we were truly, truly connected. And at the end of the day, we were all about the same goal. It was about helping students. And so we came into this mix, and we started our first early college in 2006 in August, and we now have 8 of them, and we're going to open 4 more this academic year. We just have always thought there ought to be a stronger link between K-12 and higher ed, and so early college allows that to happen. And we've had a great time doing this, sitting across the table with our friends in K-12. I've had as much fun doing that because I get my K-12 fix that way, and I'm enjoying my work at VU, or at least I will until July 31. I'm retiring at the end of July after 47 years, but I've had a wonderful time, and I'm passionate. I am passionate about public education and love the work. So that's why we're doing this, because it's about connectivity, but it's about challenging students. It's about making things better for students than we've ever made them, and there just isn't any reason not to do it. And so I have two people with me this evening who actually are much smarter than I. Our provost, Chuck Johnson, who just finished a PhD at Purdue University, and who is going to be the new interim president at Vincennes University on August the 1st. And he will do wonderful work for VU, and I look forward to what he's going to do for VU and for our state. We also have with us Carolyn Jones. Dr. Jones has been with Vincennes University several years and has just done really wonderful work. She's on the science side, a wonderful faculty member in her own right. Has gotten involved with early college, and I would consider Carolyn Jones probably the guru today of early college education in our state. So these two are wonderful additions to the early college program. Understand it, and so it's my pleasure to have both of them. Carolyn, would you stand? Chuck, would you stand? Alan, you left me here all alone. There you are.
I'm going to ask Ms. Wheeler to come up too, and I just have 6 or 7 slides. I try to succinctly describe and explain this program because it is rather unique. And so then we can take questions as I go through, interrupt me, or at the end we can certainly answer. We have a good team here from Vincennes and can help answer those questions also. So let me go back a little bit to actually work my way up to the early college. You've heard us talk about the past few years, 4 real focus areas within Prosser that we work very hard to ensure we have high quality programs. One of those initiatives or focus area is the integration of academics within our CTE curriculum. You hear us talk about graduation rate a lot. You hear us talk about our math, language, arts teachers within our school, helping our CTE teachers. We work very hard in that arena. Our industry recognized certifications and state licenses, you hear us talk a lot about that. And we've continued to increase those, and we'll continue to focus on those opportunities for students. You hear us talk about our work-based learning programs, our partnerships with business and industry, our co-ops and internships and those types of things. And then you hear us talk about dual credits. With early college is really going to be, in my mind, the elevation of that dual credit program. If you hit that next slide. Just to give you a recap of our dual credit initiatives, and it's a very conscious effort, very focused mission. Kathy's done an excellent job with the staff, and if you look at 2010-11, 11 of our programs had some kind of dual credit opportunity for students. That's less than half of our programs. So 4 years ago, less than half of our programs had some kind of college credit opportunity. There are 37 at that time different college courses made available to students within our school, and the students earned about 2,900 total college credits. And if you look up to the last year, 14-15, we now have elevated to 22 of our 24 programs have college credit opportunities. We have 86 different college credit agreements, different courses that are offered within our courses. We still are tabulating our number, but we're quite confident that it's going to be higher than 6,200. Now, to give you a little bit of a flavor and a feel for the significance of that number, next slide. Less than a month ago, this report that I'm holding up, it's called the Indiana Career Readiness Report, 2015 CTE and Career Data Analysis. I clipped that chart directly out of this report. It's from the Department of Education. And you can take a look in regards to dual credits. We are Region 10. The second place is not really even close. When you look at the dual credits students, it says CTE concentrators. That means you've earned at least 6 credits in a particular pathway. So 70% of our students have earned some type of dual credit. And again, to get the feel of the significance of that, if you just take a quick look at that bar chart, we feel very good about that. Well, we want to push that envelope even further. And that's where we walk into the dual or the early college concept. So let's talk a little bit about, very quickly, dual credit versus early college. Our dual credits, which you're aware, that's the students will enroll in our program and in the university And when they complete our program, they will earn at the same time the high school credit and the college credit. Generally, that's a junior or senior year. The early college is going to be more focused on students seeking and pursuing an associate degree. The goal will be an associate degree upon completion of a high school diploma. And so one significant difference is the dual credits will be backed up down into the 9th and 10th grade. It's not just junior, senior, but the college dual credits will be earned 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. And if you look kind of at the bottom block there, it references that the dual credit generally are just courses. They're not really necessarily sequenced. They're in a planned sequence, but they're just different courses. Again, the early college model, it will be focused, it will be planned, and it will be with the intent to earn an associate degree. Now, you probably have heard about college or early colleges the past few years. Generally, the early colleges are focused on earning the general studies. Usually, it's an associate degree in general studies. Okay, so you again, if keep that in mind when we talk a little bit about here in just a moment the uniqueness of this partnership with Vincennes. So while there are several early colleges across the state, there are no early colleges really in CTE, an associate degree in technical studies. So let's go to the next slide. So we have identified 4 programs with Vincennes that we want to pilot: our machine tool, our industrial maintenance, criminal justice, and auto services. We will work this year to develop and market the program. And what I mean by market, not only to students, but to educate our sending schools and work with our sending schools to coordinate this, and with the goal to have 16-17 be our implementation year. So this year will be a planning year. And as I just said, the difference between traditional early college models and our Vincennes Prosser arrangement will be, our goal will be students will earn an associate degree in a technical area of study. Again, that's quite unique. Now, Vincennes has targeted, I used the word chosen, they said it's not necessarily chosen, they're targeted 10 schools that they want to develop and implement this innovative early college model. So we're very appreciative that they have the confidence that they want us to be on the front end of this, that they think we can do this, and that's very meaningful, and again very appreciative that we're going to have this opportunity, because it's really going to elevate our dual credits again into this early college. Now, if you take a look, this is how we're going to do it. So this is, and it's a very simple slide. I'll try to explain how this works. If you, again, I said the associate degree in general studies, associate degrees are generally 60 hours. And so in a technical area program, for that associate degree, it takes generally 36 hours in the major and then 24 hours of general ed. So our plan will be to elevate our curriculum within our school. Most of our programs offer between 9 and 12 credits. So we'll be seeking to elevate our curriculum that students will be able to earn 36 credits within the Prosser time. The academic coursework, the 24 credits, will be earned in the sending high school, in individual high school. So there'll be a lot of coordination with the courses that are being offered within all of the individual high schools that come into Prosser. So, for example, Austin they have quite a comprehensive list of I think they actually have an early college general studies program currently. So we'll be coordinating with those. That's with Ivy Tech, though, not Vincennes, but it's with Ivy Tech. But we'll be coordinating, say, with Austin that they earn the academic credits there, coupled with our Prosser credits to hopefully earn the technical certificate or the technical associate degree. While at Corden, there might not be that many dual credits, then maybe there's not as many, but still, the goal is to align as many of those as possible, and maybe to again help develop more of those academic credits within the school, so that again, as they couple it with the Prosser dual credits, we're going to be able to pursue the associate degree. Click that one more time, and then let's just say, for example, let's just move the general ed off the table for a second. Just Prosser. We're totally in control of Prosser for sure. Even if we don't look at the academic component of that, we're going to be pursuing technical certificates from Vincennes University with the college credits that the students will earn within our program. So it'll be more than just you earned 12 college credits at Vincennes when you graduate from Prosser. You're at minimum going to earn the technical certificate from Vincennes University. Hopefully, we'll have you on a path that you're going to be well on your way to an associate degree, or maybe even earning. Again, the goal is the associate degree upon graduation. So, yeah, next slide. So a couple, just this is really, I think, the last slide, just some more specifics. Vincennes fully invested in this. They are fully supportive, and they're going to be a fantastic partner. As you can see, they're going to locate a full-time administrator in our Career Center to help with this coordination. And that's going to be very, very key, because it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of communication, again, with each individual high school. It's almost overwhelming when I think of all the dual credits that are offered in each individual high school, and trying to identify those and create a path for each high school. Each high school will look a little different, quite frankly. They're also going to provide a language arts and math tutor to support the students that will be enrolled in early college that are in the math and language arts classes out in those high schools. So that tutor will be able to go out and work with those students if they're beginning to struggle. There'll be a great support system given to these students. The cost of Prosser, in essence, it's no cost. The staffing, Vincennes, is supporting that. The dual credits for the technical dual credits to the students are zero cost still. The academic dual credits are $25 per hour. That's actually what it is currently now with Vincennes Project Excel program. It's $25 per credit hour, except that is waived if you're on free or reduced lunch. Then it's totally free. I did put one last sentence in, and I'm not sure if that was in the agreement or not, the X semester, but the students, they don't have to finish the associate degree. So they could, get partway onto it, depending on the high school coming in. There could be that they might need to attend what's called X semester. It's a summer program at Vincennes, which will be a great opportunity between a junior and senior year to get a real college experience. If they want to pursue and really finish that associate degree, they might have to take the summer program, X semester at Vincennes University. That might be for these three schools, but again, this school over here, it might not. It just sort of depends. That will play out as we begin to build it. So it will be a little unique as it's built. It'll look maybe a little different within each particular high school, but at the end of the students' high school experience, our hope is that they're going to also earn an associate degree in a technical area of study, and at the very, very minimum, a technical certificate. So I'll kind of pause there and see if there are any questions for any of our Vincennes folks, or for Kathy or myself. Or
Mr. Taylor, first of all, this is great. I mean, this is excellent. And the reason, back on that graph, where New Albany Floyd County is so far above, has very much to do with your leadership and Mrs. Wheeler. So I want to personally thank you for what you have done and what you continue to do, especially after we get the referendum passed and we improve Prosser even more from a structural standpoint. Just two questions. On the last sentence that you said, if a student does have to go that X semester, is it still just $25 a credit hour?
Dr. Jones, you want to help answer that possibly on the X semester? I'm not sure if some...
There's a flat fee for that. That includes their housing and their tuition and the activities that go on during that.
So they have to actually go to the campus if they do that?
Yes.
So that's the campus cost or what? Okay. Is there an approximate cost? How much that would you have any idea? And then the other question would be if the board so moves to agree with this tonight, and other universities come to us wanting to do that, since we're doing this pilot, if we commit to the pilot, does that eliminate us from working with other universities that want to do the same thing?
No. No. In my opinion, no. What we want to do is we want to, because some of our programs are aligned with Vincennes or with Ivy Tech, and Vincennes might not even have that particular program. Our goal is to have an early college opportunity within all of our programs within our school. So I would say we're piloting 4. So our goal will be to pursue with the appropriate university and early college.
There's no contractual verbiage that says any other universities want to come in and do this, they can do that.
I made you uncomfortable, Vincennes, by saying that, but I don't think so. I mean, right now we're probably, I don't know, 50-50. Sure.
We'd like the opportunity to earn the other programs.
Sure.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Sure.
From our perspective, this is not about competition. This is what Vincennes University does. 60% of what we do as an institution is career and technical education. That is our sweet spot. And if you were to look at our facilities, our advanced manufacturing facilities, that's why we have partnerships with Subaru and Toyota and Jasper Engines and Indiana Furniture and Caterpillar, because of the program, the facilities, and the people that we have driving these programs. Prosser is a great fit for Vincennes University because, first of all, we get some of your students every year. We have some of your faculty who really understand and believe in Vincennes University. So if it came time to add another program or two, which is very likely, it happens in other community colleges that we have today, we would just ask that we would get the opportunity to do that, because if it's a career and tech program, we probably already have it in place, and we make them unique to each individual early college. You're going to be pleased that you're doing this. Your students and your parents are going to be even more pleased, because in your spare time, sit down and look at what it would cost if those students came to VU as opposed to coming to Prosser with the same outcome. And then you will understand that this is about affordability and it's about accessibility, and we will hold these students to a high standard. It's in their best interest that we do that. So I think you're going to like what we're doing, and if you get a chance to expand it, we hope that that you have us on speed dial. Or if you want to text, I'll do that too.
You tweet? No, I'm just kidding.
If it's about selling Vincennes University, I'll communicate however you want.
One thing I wanted to say, you're talking about going into the 9th and 10th grade now,
Yes,
right?
which is phenomenal.
Which is, I've asked for this for years, to go down to the 9th and 10th grade so we could grab these kids and keep them from dropping out of school. So I am tickled beyond belief.
Very good.
About that part. There was something else I wanted to ask. I guess I'm interested in outcomes, and after these kids get their associate's degree, is there going to be a follow-up? How many kids, is there placement? Is there job placement? How successful are they going to be? Is there going to be something like that, accountability that would come back to us in the future?
I'm certain there will be. I mean, we our placement rate it's one of our actual core indicators for the measurement of our school and measured on CTE. So this would just be a subset of that. I would be very easy. Sure.
Once a teacher, always a teacher, right? You talk too much. First of all, we hope there will be some internships involved with these students, which is all a part of the accountability process. Please also understand that we are a member of the Higher Learning Commission, which is North Central. You have North Central schools in New Albany Floyd County. We also have those same regimented requirements for our institution. There are certain standards that we must meet. We have to assess the programs at our early colleges just like we do for our sites in Jasper or Indianapolis or Vincennes. So there will be accountability because we have no choice if we want to continue membership in the North Central Association. I can also share with you from the state of Indiana, this has not come to public education K-12 yet. We are funded by metrics: retention, graduation rates, how well students do from lower socioeconomic situations, and time to degree. That's how we're funded by the state of Indiana. So we have a real interest in your students graduating. That will be another outcome that you will find, which is why we put an academic person here, an assistant dean, and we put a tutor in English, a tutor in mathematics. We want your students to be successful. It's in our best interest as well as theirs.
And I think there was one other question. I think it was just in the contract. Is it something about if there needs to be a substitute teacher, it's our responsibility? If somebody from Vincennes doesn't show up, we're responsible for the...
I don't have that committed to memory. I mean,
I know,
it's
I'm
our
trying to find
teachers,
it.
though. I mean, we're hiring our teachers.
Sorry about
No,
that.
no, go ahead. Have at it.
And Carolyn, if I don't say this correctly, you're okay to correct me. If, for example, there would be an area where you would not have a credentialed teacher meaning someone who would pass muster for Vincennes University, as if that person were teaching at a site at Vincennes or Indianapolis or wherever we're located. If you don't have that person on site, then we would have to hire an adjunct. That actually comes through New Albany Floyd County Schools. If we have to hire the adjunct, then we charge for that class $75 a credit hour. That's to take care of that teacher. Otherwise, you'll be fully staffed, and we can rely on the people that you bring to us, which keeps the credit hour cost at $25, and that is our goal. We would prefer not to hire any adjuncts. We would prefer to use your individuals, and for the most part in career and technical education, that's not difficult to do.
And all of our pilot programs are credentialed with Vincennes. That's one of the reasons we chose those programs.
I actually considered Vincennes when I was in high school for the mortuary school, but then I decided I couldn't be putting people down all the time, so I just didn't want to do that.
Not too late.
I'm grateful.
It's a great university, though. Great
It
university.
is. It's outstanding.
Any other questions? Alan, do you have anything else to add? or-
No, I just look forward to it. Think it's going to be very, very exciting the next couple of years, and hopefully we'll watch it grow.
You've got a lot of coordination to do with all the cities.
Tremendous amount, yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
All right. We need a motion then.
I move that we approve the memorandum of understanding between Prosser and Vincennes University.
Ms. Anderson made a motion.
I second it.
Ms. Corbett seconds. Any discussion?
Other than I'm thrilled.
Pam, you want to call the roll, please?
Aye.
Mr. Gaunt?
Aye.
Mrs. Anderson?
Aye.
Mrs. Corbett?
Aye.
Mr. Hines? Aye. Ms. Weishart?
Aye.
Ms. Gardenauer?
Aye. Passes 7-0. All right. Welcome on board. All right. Information discussion items, Mr. Briscoe.
Okay, at the last board meeting, the board asked administration to bring a draft policy that would allow us to test a student for drugs if there's reasonable suspicion. We have done that. It's in your packet. What we try to do in this policy is to define what reasonable suspicion is. It authorizes the corporation to test. It talks about when it can happen. It can be on school grounds. It can be off school grounds if it's an activity or a function, whether we're transporting students. It does in there tell us when we're required to report to authorities, which is Indiana code. It talks about how the cost is paid for by the board. It talks about what happens if a student refuses or alters the test. And it also talks about that the parent has the right to have the student retested at their own cost. So we've brought that policy to you. This is just a draft, and I'm guessing you would want first reading to come back after discussion tonight, next month.
This is
very, very good bill.
Yeah.
I mean, it is very, very, I think it hits on what each board member, the input, and this is just, I really like it. The only question I have on the second page where it says, the cost of one school-initiated breath, saliva, or urine taste will be paid for by the board and may be used for disciplinary, I mean, what does that mean by the board? Like, are we donating our paycheck, or what? Why would this not say school corporation, or what fund are we talking about? I'm okay using my paycheck, but that was just interesting verbiage. I didn't understand.
In most of our policies, it says board when it.
Oh, I thought
for
it said
that,
corporation.
but
Okay.
I'd be glad to make it corporation.
I just want to make sure if you need me to write a check, I'll
Yeah,
write a check.
I'll pitch in.
And then, well, I know that
$50.
you had told us that you're still working on the other element of this.
We are,
with the-
and we're still working on that one, and hopefully bring it next month, if not the month after. But we are working hard on that.
So will you do a first reading on this without
Yes,
that part?
I think
That'll
that will be a separate thing that we'll have to do.
Okay, so it'd be a separate policy.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you for what you've done with this.
And
Great job.
and obviously,
Good job.
council's worked very hard on it. It's been the whole team that's worked on this.
That's great. Good.
Couldn't be happier.
Okay, so is the board in agreement with bringing this back for first reading? Are you in agreement with this, or are there any other changes? I don't think we have any changes, do we? Or everyone? Can I get a nod, or
I'm doing it.
a nod? I guess I'm looking past you to George.
I feel like a
Are you okay
bobblehead.
with this, or do you have any questions about?
Actually, I had two questions on it.
Okay.
I was trying to remember where they were in here. Under, I think it's the third paragraph, it says, administrators of the corporation are authorized to require any student of the corporation to submit a test of the student's breath, saliva, blood, or urine as the administration has reasonable suspicion, and so on. And blood test isn't mentioned anywhere else. Has that been?
What we did right here is just to try to keep it open. What we will do after, if you all are going and it looks like it's heading toward the first reading, what we'll do, and Dr. Jensen's already started doing this, is to work with a company to try to secure and bring more information back on what type of tests we'll use. But we kept it broad, so in the future, if things change, other boards, other corporations can do something. But we will have one set way of doing that in most cases, and we'll let you all know what we're doing on that. But we do have to look into that more.
On the second page, you have the first sentence talks about. I'm assuming that's a typo, and it's supposed to say pseudoephedrine on there.
It is. I noticed that when I sent out the draft now.
But so does that mean that a student taking some allergy medication would have to? Would there be a? I know there's also a mention about student. Here it goes. Basically, that the parent can fill out a form to have a student be able to self-administer medication at school. So would
Yeah,
that be
that's
would that fit under that particular category?
That's at the bottom of that first page, and yes, if it's a medication that the doctor has approved and we've done all the paperwork and we administer, or the student self-administrators, it wouldn't fall under this.
Okay.
Any questions? Anything else? Okay, so we'll bring this back for a first reading. Sounds good. All right, that was easy. A couple other things that you all received in your packet: the copy of the ISBA proposed legislative priorities short session. This is, I have to say, our school districts, we in the surrounding districts are ahead of the game in that we have a committee that meets with our state legislators, and basically this is a lot what we came up with, but it's really caught fire. Dr. Smith, the ISBA director now, he's really on the ball. I think he's going to lobby for this, but this includes, and if Fred was here, he'd be so tickled about talking about the transportation, the protected levies, and what impact that's had on our funds. capital project funds, being able to continue to pay utilities and insurance from CPF, the TIFs, that's a whole thing in itself.
Yeah.
And also, we are still trying to hear from the city about Jessica, you being on the redevelopment. It's kind of stuck. And Jan, have you been able to go to redevelopment? The
It's
county?
tomorrow night.
Is it? Okay.
It's the second Tuesday.
Okay, and you meet once a month?
Yes.
Okay.
Just like board meetings. So I know board meeting next night is.
Okay. And I know, unfortunately, the city redevelopment meets twice a month at 2:30 in the afternoon. Really inconvenient time. But anyway, and also we were talking about, and I apologize if I don't know what's law or not, but I think it is 15%. We can ask for up to 15% of TIF money, and for the schools, and we don't get that. So I think they're gonna be talking about that. Isn't that right, Dr. Hibbard? Does that sound right? We have a right to receive up to 15% of what they collect in the TIF.
I thought it was 10, but it could be 15.
10, I thought it was 15.
I know it's the amount of money.
Okay. They're also going to talk about the referendum language. That might have been a problem this last time, and of course this is not going to be done in time for our next referendum. But hopefully in the future they're going to tackle that problem. Also about mail-in balloting. Hadn't heard about that. Student testing. Greater focus on benchmark testing during the school year. Collective bargaining, remove hard bargaining dates, and allow formal bargaining anytime during the year, especially due to the balanced calendars and year-round calendars and all that, and allow memorandum of understandings anytime during the year, because that's at a certain time you can only do those, or what?
Well, official bargaining is starts here on August 1st, so the press might as well know that. And just so you know, also, Joey and I probably won't be bargaining in the press, so we'll probably be doing it behind the scenes. But as far as memorandum of understandings, it's something you probably shouldn't do right now under the new bargaining law. There's different opinions on that, but it's probably something you shouldn't do, and we stay away from.
Okay. And then also superintendent's contract. It was now the law, you have to have a public hearing about their contract. All they're saying, if there's any minor modifications to the contract, that there shouldn't have to go through another public hearing and all that stuff. So they kind of want to clean that up. So I thought these were all really good things that the ISBA is going forward with and lobbying. And Jan, you'll be participating in that. So just want to let you guys know that. We are, policies. We talked about this, about going through our policies, and didn't know how you all want to handle this at either a meeting or a work session. The zero group, as I'll call them, the bylaws, that includes 8 sections, but that, those are mostly by law. They're state statutes, that how you're elected and all that stuff. And then the 1000 section, the administration, that's 14 sections. Actually, guys, when you look through this, there's not that much there. It's a page. It wouldn't take you that long to read. And so I didn't know whether, now the 2000 part where it's programs, there's 51 sections, but again, it might be 51 pages. So I didn't know whether you wanted to do the bylaws, the administration section, like maybe at the next meeting. And, there'll be your homework. That would be your homework, is that you read through these, and if there's anything that you want to highlight, or write it down, and let's just go through it page by page and just say, is there any correction on this page? Is there anything you want to change? Nope. And just roll through them.
That's a good idea, because those are the ones that we seem to have a lot of questions with, and perhaps need changes to.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So how about homework?
Okay.
Next board meeting. The next board meeting is August 10th. All right.
And that's going to be what now? We're going to do?
We're going to do the bylaws and the 1000 section, which is administration.
Okay.
That's your homework. I've never had homework.
Can you email us the homework to remind us?
If this is not going to be on the iStep, I'm not doing it.
Okay, and then I want to let you know that we were going to talk about the documents, posting our documents, but we wanted to talk to John Woodard first. And John couldn't be here today because he was in mediation. So, and I had sent you out an email about that. So he's going to come for an executive session the next time on August the 10th at 5. And so we'll meet with him, and then we'll have our regular school board session at 6.
And that's on August the 10th?
August the 10th, we'll have an executive session with John Woodard, outside consultant, so we can talk to him about open door and all that. Okay? And then on August the 17th, we're having a special work session, a work session. Dr. Snyder's going to talk to us about the CPF budget, and I think we'd agreed on that date.
Yeah.
Just wanted to remind you. At 6 o'clock. Is that okay with you guys at work?
Yeah, we had already agreed on that. I
Okay.
thought, 'cause
Becky, I think that's when I move my daughter to school. So
Oh, no. Okay.
maybe I didn't realize that when we.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay. Well,
it might be the 18th, but it might be the 17th.
Okay.
And we may have
'Cause
to
that's
stay.
on a Monday.
Yeah, she's waiting to hear.
Okay. All right. He would probably have a PowerPoint anyway that he could send that to you.
Okay. Okay.
Your daughter's leaving.
I know. I don't want to talk about it.
Then also, Dr. Hibbard wanted to know if we could meet on July 21st, a work session. Do you want to address that, Dr. Hibbard?
Yeah, just be a special board meeting to hear a presentation from the Winston Terrell Group, which is a PR marketing firm. And then what I'd like for it to be a special meeting so that you guys can have an action item to accept a contract, which I sent to all of you.
Okay.
I'm not available the 21st, but
Oh. If it was later?
It's a Tuesday evening.
I'm not available at all on the 21st that evening.
Okay.
I've got other meetings.
Do you, are you okay with, or you want to?
I'll try to phone in. I mean, I can't vote, but I'll try to phone in. Are we doing it at 6?
That's what time I'd asked him to come.
6? Would 6:30 be better?
I've got stuff that whole night,
Okay.
so I can't.
Okay.
But I will try to break away and at least call so I can listen.
Okay.
no, and I was able to change mine.
Okay.
Because I thought there was going to be a conflict, and I've already taken care of that.
Well, okay. Well, we could accommodate other people. One other thing, like I said, Jan, at the start of the year when we reorganized, we have the legislative liaison, that's Jan. I don't know how many of you will plan on going to the fall conference with ISBA. I always go. Is there anybody else who will be going to the fall conference?
Obviously.
I know you're going to ask me that. Open that up and I can tell you.
What month?
September. Do you have it on there, Jan?
I thought I did, but no, I don't.
It's usually on a Monday and Tuesday.
I had it on here.
Before or after our board meeting?
It would
On the
be
14th.
after. I think it would be the week after that.
Yeah, because board meeting's on the 14th.
I think I'm in Chicago that day. I don't know.
It's either going to be the 21st or what's the week after that? 28th. Anyway, the reason I'm asking, I'm going to be going, Jan will be going, George, Lynn, or you're somewhere else. Any of you guys going to go?
Where is it?
It's at Indianapolis.
Probably.
I have to check.
Okay. We need a legislative delegate. Pretty much they talk about this, and that's when they have the nominating committee. But we need somebody, if somebody's going to attend, we need somebody as a delegate.
I have to see if I have a conflict. If I don't, I'm planning on going.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, then maybe we can find out, by July and the next meeting, then we can talk about that. All right. Is there a storm coming in? See, there's not. There's sunlight
After
outside.
11, they said maybe.
No, after 11? Okay.
We're not going that long, are we?
No. Is there anything else that anybody wants to ask? Any questions?
I'll just checking my calendar. I'm going to be out of town the 21st too, so I will
Okay.
not be able to attend.
I need to check on. For Bruce's thing. That's not good. That's two.
Well, that's 3. Is that 3? Jessica, George?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm okay.
I just want to have it so that we can get the ball rolling August 1st.
Yeah. Good idea.
Anything else? All right. I would say meeting's adjourned.
Eat my cake.